So just I wanted to make it clear because we're having a conversation about something that happened and I'm not sure everybody saw it. That's what happened.
Yeah, so like to me, I hear some of the decisions that are being made, but also he has experienced veterans on his team, on his staff, to help him make those decisions. Now, look, Jackson Hayes not touching the floor. I can't answer to that, Woody. I don't know the answer to that, especially when Rudy Gobert goes to 27 and 24. But we can't just make JJ Redick the scapegoat. Like this team, at the end of the day, lack of athleticism on the perimeter, okay, and lack of size. Those are two things that we've been talking about all year long. And by the way, the Wolves just maul you like a bear in the woods. That's how their offense and defense is constructed.
Okay, so now we've heard from the legends, we've heard from the player, now let's hear from the fan, and then we'll start diving into some of the specifics. D. Wood, how is Laker Nation feeling this morning? What's the single biggest concern?
Well, I mean, listen, first of all, they put us out of our misery. Literally, I look at it, and Jay, you hit on a couple things. Number one, everyone knows we have no size on our team. Rudy Gobert was out there like Godzilla, just playing basketball, doing whatever he wanted to do in the middle of the paint. And that, you know, when you play small ball, that's exactly what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to punish the team for playing that type of ball, and that's exactly what the Minnesota Timberwolves did. We are not an athletic team. We lack athleticism on the perimeter. How many times, I mean, every game it seemed like their guys were just blowing by us time after time after time. I don't know how many times that I've, watched NBA coverage with the great Michael Wilbon or Kendrick Perkins, and those guys talk about how important defense is in the postseason.
Yeah.
After the trade and towards the end of the regular season, I really thought that defensively, okay, that was the most encouraging thing that I saw about the Lakers team after the trade was how well they were playing defensively. Bro, we were getting smoked. We were getting cooked by the Minnesota Timberwolves because we couldn't stay in front of them, and they were getting wide open threes all the time. They didn't even make any threes last night, and they still got us. So the lack of athleticism, the size, and then lastly, Luka Doncic. Okay, Luka Doncic, I love Luka as a scorer, but damn it, he got to get in better shape. And I don't want to hear all these excuses about basically this is who Luka is. I'm sorry, we're about to hand him a record contract. He's going to be the face of our franchise. And if you're not going to play if you're not going to attempt to play any defense, how in the hell am I going to expect as a Lakers fan that you're going to deliver the one thing that all Lakers fans expect, which is a championship? Don't give me this, we made it to the finals. Yeah, I made it to the AFC Championship game a couple times. That doesn't mean anything. Until you bring us a chip, nothing matters to Lakers Nation. So, Luka, I can't even say it, get your behind in better shape.
Yeah.
If you're going to be the face of the franchise, get it together.
I think these days you can say whatever you want. By the way, Luka last night, I can put a number to it. He defended 16 drives. He allowed 9 blow-bys, which is the most allowed by any player in any playoff game this postseason. You can see Wilbon's face. Okay, so much to unpack. Let's start with Luka. We will work our way around this. Michael, I got Laker fans, I got looking at Twitter, and look, we all understand we live in an overreaction society. People are going to overreact in the immediacy of the moment. But all of a sudden, I've got people saying, this is why the Mavericks got rid of him. I see what Nico Harrison saw. All that kind of, you could call it revisionist history, however you want to call it. What are the right things to say about Luka Doncic this morning, Michael?
Well, it's not revisionist. I mean, that's why the Dallas Mavericks waved goodbye to him. Now, you can still say, I know I couldn't have made the deal on that basis, but that is the basis on which they made the deal. Let's not get that confused. All right, I talked to a Hall of Fame defensive player of recent vintage 2 nights ago over dinner, and he zeroed in on that part of it and talking about as great as Luka is, and he points out that in the Western Conference, here's what you have. You have these young Houston Rockets, athletic, powerful, fast, long. They play like trapeze artists above the rim and on the floor too. You got that coming in San Antonio where you got a rookie of the year in the backcourt. You've got that coming in. So you've already got a team full of those guys in Oklahoma City. You have this everywhere you look for young teams on the come, and particularly in the Western Conference where Luka lives. What's going to happen? He's around a guy who's in the best shape of any 40-year-old, not just basketball player, but just about athlete we've ever seen. Is that going to rub off? What influence is just looking at LeBron going to have on Luka Doncic? Is he a great player? One way, yes. I will just say this real quickly. I vote for the awards, the league awards. One of the reasons in the past 5 years, I've never had Luka in my top 3 in MVP. As great as he is, I'm not voting for guys who play one way.
Thank you.
No, not happening. And we'd have this argument, Greeny, we have this argument on the set on Countdown and elsewhere. No, not in my top 3. He plays one end of the court. And you're not going to win a I know they got close last year. Dallas did other things to cover for him. But that's if we're going to deal with, and D Wood is absolutely right. With the Lakers, you presume a certain floor. And now what are you building on? So Luka's going to have to commit himself and dedicate himself in a way that we have not seen yet.
So hold on one second, Jay. I promise I'm coming to you. But let me just get Windy, because, Windy, one of the many things that stick in my mind, because you are generally one of the most measured people I know when it comes to analysis, was how critical of Luka you were when their season ended last year, when they lost in the finals last year. This had a different feeling to it for a variety of reasons. What are your thoughts on Luka Doncic as his season ends now?
Well, I just want to point out that 2 years ago with Kyrie Irving, the Mavericks didn't make the playoffs, okay, if you remember that. In fact, they tanked down the stretch of the season. They were fined for tanking because their roster was flawed. And then they made a very good draft pick with Derek Lively, and then they traded for another center, Daniel Gafford, and an athletic wing in P.J. Washington, and they were in the finals, okay? Just because the Lakers are flawed does not mean it's a catastrophic situation. They will need to make some tweaks. They have some things. They have tradable contracts. They have draft picks. They have pick swaps. Potentially with what LeBron does with his contract, they might have some free agency money. They need to fix it. And so that's what they're going to do. Luka has his limitations, and he has incredible upside. That was true 2 years ago. It was true last year when they were in the finals. It's true now. But this roster was what it is. So rage on about this team. All of it is fair. But realize there's a process here, and the process has worked before.
Here's my thing. And look, there is a process. It's not all on Luka. But back to Wilbon's point. And Mike, you hit the nail on the head, and so did you, Woody. One of the things that I'm going to pose here is a larger question that I think we all should think about. It seems like every year we are talking about, when is Luka going to get it? When is he going to get motivated? Last year in the NBA Finals, right? That will get you motivated. Well, he's 26 years old. He still has upside. He's been a pro since he's been 14. 14 years old. So that's 12 years of being a pro, around pros. At some point, is this just who Luka is? Is it who Luka is?
I think
are we going to accept that?
It is most reasonable to say it is who he is. The question, I guess, is it who he's always going to be? And I think Michael makes a good point. The people who have been behind him are coming on strong and might surpass him in the